forest gardener, you go apprentice with him. Do you know that after the session yesterday, somebody who went to the tea was so excited, he wanted to show us his, forest garden, his trees garden. So we were at our garden because someone who was at the tea yesterday was so inspired, and he's inviting schools and members of the community to apprentice with him. So we could apprentice, and all of you could be forest gardeners as well. Thank you, Dr. Torres. Have you said anything? I don't think.
Well, you're probably thinking, what is a forest garden? Well, Cynthia and I spend a lot of time. She says I have to really bring it to
rock it into small change.
Rock it into small change. You can't fully meet it.
Ordinary people understand.
Okay, so we came up with an idea. Your ideas might help too. What does inspire you after you hear and see these things? So it's what we try to imagine. It's a space where nature meets culture, with a mix of plants. Some with fruit that some that fruit only once in the sun, like beans, maize, squash, and others that fruit many times in the sun or in the shade, like chicle, allspice, mahogany, cahoon, acaya, cheap. It's an area where culture honors and cooperates with the natural cycles, creating a biodiverse habitat that enriches soil, something that we're really losing. We're losing good soil. So this enriches soil, fertility, manages water. I don't know if you know, but in Spanish Lookout, they are using toxins and everything further down from the Spanish Lookout that uses the water is suffering from the quality of water because we're not paying attention to what we're putting in the ground. This landscape is all limestone. It's like a sponge. So it goes right to your water table, like single-use plastic and other things, if you want to get me on that stuff. But no, anyway, manages water. How does it manage water? With shade. Reduces the temperature, because I notice people who are standing run to be under a tree rather than wait in the sun. And why is that? Is it warmer or cooler? So it reduces temperature, something we're facing 2 degrees centigrade rise in temperature in the last 40 years. I thought I was just getting lily-livered and, it's too much from California, which is wonderful. Where I live, it's just always 75 degrees and beautiful every time. No rain, that is the problem. No, it's risen 2 degrees centigrade. If the temperature rise in California was 2 degrees centigrade, we could not have the agriculture we have. So that's serious, and that's just here in the last 40 years. And this system reduces temperature, supports animals, including people. So it's improving the landscape, feeding you, and supporting you. It's a system where patience is a virtue. When you plant a tree, does it grow in a day? No. You have to wait. And sometimes you have to wait 4 or 8 years before it's productive, but it can be productive for many, many years after that. And I was talking with Lucy earlier, and she says to me, oh, my grandfather and my father and our family, we had trees and we never wanted for fruit, and every time we wanted fruit, it was a different fruit, but every year, any time of the year, we would have something to eat. So this is something we're losing. We're becoming alienated from nature. The forest garden then is not only a place where patience is a virtue, but it's a long-term investment. And it's an investment that the ancient Maya, planned over centuries, over millennia, and we are in the benefit of it. One of the benefits, I always am thinking, where did we get logwood? Logwood was something that was cared for by the Maya. They knew it was a base for dye. It got used by England to make dyes until aniline, which is very recently. It was in the middle of the in the middle of the 1800s that they actually moved to aniline dyes. So it was about 2 centuries that they were relying on logwood from the Maya forest. Then what? Mahogany and cedar. Now, do you think mahogany is on the CITES list? Do you know about that? That's an endangered species list. It's not endangered. Do we find mahogany, you guys? We find mahogany almost in every place, right? Common at El Pilar. But it's small. And then it's also illegally cut. So we're not letting them grow. What the Maya did is they planted it among their other trees, and it was always a part of the landscape. Of course, when the Spanish came and the colonies took over this area that was colonized, within 50 to 100 years of that moment, 90% of the people how many are we here? 1 in 10 lived. So all the knowledge we have, 1 person in 10 survived. So there wasn't enough people to manage the forests as a garden. So all those cedars and mahoganies grew large, large, large. It's on the CITES list because they're not large. But are we going to leave them 500 years? Well, I don't see us leaving them the next year, practically. So I think this forest garden is something that was given to us by the ancient Maya, that it was preserved and it was nurtured by the Maya, and people like Narciso Torres aren't walking encyclopedias, and it's that inspires me to try to make this school project and make the projects that we are promoting to be something real and go forward. These walking encyclopedias, that's why we're here at the library. And I want to present to Lucy something personal and something for the library in general. I was down at the National Library. I'm sorry. We're giving you exercise. This is the Maya Forest Garden. It's by myself, an archaeologist, and Ron Nye, who is a ethnographer and worked with the Lacandon, but he now works with people in the lowlands all over. And I did not let this book, this chapter 2 is called The Milpa Cycle. I did not let that book go out to be published before I talked it over, read it out, let them read it. Narciso was one of my advisors, Alfonso Sul, Zacarias was also one. These people read and we discussed, we debated, we eliminated, we added. But overall, talking with them about that chapter, they said, this is not a mystery. What's the problem here? But nobody knows how important the Milpa cycle is in the forest garden. In fact, yesterday was John Morris was saying that if you open an average book, it says this is an inhospitable place. So we see it as the most hospitable, with food at every corner if you plan it. And this is for you, signed to you. And if the library wants more, I can give them more, but that's for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to now...
I just wanted to challenge the library, because I love the challenge. Listen, I'm the champion of the Duke of Edinburgh Award, and it's a mentoring program for leaders and young people all over the world, and it's a challenge. Challenge us to be the best we can be. What I have learned walking along with Dr. Ford is that there are many stories that need to be written and documented around the rainforest, and we would like to collaborate with the library in this respect. We found that when we were doing the training of teachers for the curriculum for school, we would tell them what any plan that has been significant for your family. And it was so powerful and so exciting, the stories that have come up. So we'd like to collaborate along with you with that. And we've also talked about an unwritten part of our history, which is what happened in the Chicle and the Mahogany camp. What's going on around that? And at El Pilar, we have a lot of that. We have a lot of the artifacts of that time, and those stories are not being addressed. So our mission is to have our people more aware and to celebrate. And none better than storytelling and documentation with it. I thank you very much for camera and pictures and so on. And like an oral history tradition. We'd like to collaborate with you on that. And of course invite us back to have more sessions. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you very much. Okay.
I would say I will accept the challenge, because that's part of my week.
Okay.
So we are.
No challenge at all?
No. So we are doing some of that work already. And we're partnering with Mitch as well. And I have spoken to Dr. Bird, and I have informed the other library staff about our projections for the future. We have a summer program with youth And one of the things is to look at Pilar and see how we can join forces and partner so that we can do a summer program with the children. Also the gardening as a summer program. So it links everything back to the library. And also to obtain histories. We have done oral histories as well. We do doorstep tales and so forth. So it's something that we will continue doing. And this Nanja with the lovely bird there. She is part of the Santa Elena Friends of the Library, and she can tell us more about what are we do at the library platform. She helped us with the San Ignacio Library as well. Yes! So, you know, we have been working in this field, so it will not be a real challenge, but we will work along with you. We will partner with that board and the same thing.
And when you need land for gardening, our school is 24 acres.
Thank you. Absolutely perfect.
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, I have worked for the Santa Elena Library, and we have a program there. It's a big program, very extensive. And Dr. Ford has also helped us with that library. She has the latest shelves for that library and is a friend of the Santa Elena Library. I believe in libraries because we notice the children are not reading anymore. And I hear you starting a program. Well, I will take a message to our librarian over there. Maybe she can start a summer program too. And what about Anabella? Have you been to Santa Elena Library too?
I'm always talking.
Yes, no, but yes, okay. Yes, they have a reading program, I guess. And I guess these are good books that can be read at these summer programs. Because I believe with the economic situation right now, you guys have failed to talk about the house gardens. You know that the government is trying, supporting and trying to promote household gardening. Everybody will have a garden behind their yard. Look at the Chinese, how they have, they can use any part of soil. Even stone, among stones they plant and they reap. Right here in Belmopan, I think you can see how they plant. And if we have a house garden in our home, we have our chaya, we have our tomato, we have our oregano, we have our cilantro, and that helps our economic situation. Maize is in trouble. We have to start to plant. And it's a good place to start with the children in schools, right? And so the libraries can play a big part in this, and even the schools can start to play a big part in this. Because what will happen to the leaves? There's some more break out there, we will have export coming in. We have to plan for things, you know, so that we can read, because things are getting harder to lease. If we all go and have to buy everything at the market, you know, and the time is now. And I love the program that Anna Ford started. She has started this for starting a long time ago. Things take a long time to bear fruit. And I think now it's bearing fruit. So whenever we start a program, it takes a long time to really come big and flourish. So I'm glad for this program. So librarian, you have work to do.
Thank you, Ms. Nancy. That's great. We want to thank everyone because we need every single one of you. Each of us has a contribution to make. And we know, for example, when we visited Guatemala, there are lots of things that are being done with the rainforest, and we can learn from that experience to make flour and make pancakes and all kind of things, jewelry. So we don't know everything. So under the shade we flourish is our motto, right? Sabamba Flore. And so at this point I'd like to invite Dr. Ford to give us a tour, right? That's what is on the program, that's what it says.
We're not going to have to.
We're not having the tour. We're having the tour, then the vote of thanks and question and answer.
Okay.
Tour, vote of thanks,
Okay, so-
question and answer.
Well,
Could you how will you do it?
I think I gave a verbal tour, after which we can walk around. How do you see we should see okay, so I give a verbal tour, then we're going to watch the video, and then we'll have to go to the question and answer and go to thanks, okay? So the way we planned this exhibit is down here is about El Pilar. And we have an image of the future of El Pilar. This is a Photoshop, it's called a matte print. And it's designed to give you an idea of what we can do, what is really archaeology under the canopy. And it can be as beautiful as people see the buildings at Sunanta Beach or Caracol, but it does not have to be exposed. What's the problem with exposure is the natural processes that reduce the stone to wonderful fertile earth that supports the Maya forest. So the point is that if you engage and collaborate like the forest gardeners and keep the moisture and the shade around, these monuments will last a lot longer, and they will use appropriate technologies like forest gardening strategies of just cutting with a machete, pulling with your hand, weeding, doing things that are allowing the allspice to grow, the ramon to grow, the ceiba to grow, the papaya to grow, and all the animals to come and enjoy the place as well, because that's what you can see at El Pilar. In your imagination, the monuments, and in reality, the birds and the animals that are all around. The picture over there is Sunun, which is the house, and there's another view of the house over here. You've heard a lot about LiDAR. So there's a LiDAR picture. One is the entire one resource, 2 countries, and the other shows the causeway that crosses the border, or the Via Maquinaria, or whatever it is, that joins the components of the east and west into one El Pilar.
I just wanted to say that in the interest of collaboration, we got assistance from a gentleman and a company in the big city. And we stand, so not only thanking him, but even the relationship that we have had with someone who we thought would have been most unlikely.
Yeah. So he printed all these at this large scale. The photographs you see over here and upstairs, and that one there, are all by Macduff Everton, a very well-known, internationally known photographer. Has been all over the world, Antarctica, India. Of course, he loves the Maya. He's written a book on the Maya, and I really appreciate his photographs are fabulous. So then, when you see the ones over here, they're panels that are at the site. You can go to the site and see Open Plaza del Pilar and the house called Sunuun. Upstairs is the honor to the forest gardeners, and you will see a panel with representation of, I don't know, 20 or 18 different men and women. Of which 4 have already died. And with each death, that encyclopedia that we had is no longer. Alcariocano had a beautiful place that was on a hill. He did not cut anything. We didn't have erosion. Everything was growing under the canopy because he knew if he took down the trees, it would erode. And so he managed under the canopy. It was a learning experience for me because I didn't think that that was farmable. But agriculture takes many forms. And of course, some things really want to be in the shade, and he knew how to do that. And Leonardo Obando, he maybe like Rudy Juan, he's a farmer, but also spent a lot of time with cows. But he had 2 things. One, he used Ramon as fodder for the cows, and he was a man who loved bees, so he always had things that had flowers all year round. Not every plant has a flower, but you have to have water and flowers for the nectar for the bees. So that was another way to learn. And Beatriz, wait. Beatriz Waite was a midwife, and not only that, a curandera, and a very wonderful, with a huge knowledge of plants, and she's died. And then Heriberto Cocom, who had a school, had an accessible, visible garden he called the Masewal, and none of his children, none of these people had children that followed, so it really hurts me that all their knowledge didn't go forward, and that's why we have the Panancash. And so the last panel, we have things of the forest garden, and then the last panel is about our actions of the forest garden. Panancash, am I saying it right? It means well cared for forest, and in Mayan it's not, I mean, when you translate it into English or Spanish, it sounds like we are taking care of it, but it's a much more complex term. It's a reflective, like how to take care of the plants, how the plants tell you how to take care of them. And I was talking with Alfonso, and he says, when you have that field, and you call it volunteers or pioneers, he says that plant is recommending itself to you. And you could take the recommendation or you could leave it. So if you take it, you say, okay, I will nurture it. But if you don't want it, you will take it out. So it's recommending itself. Think about that. That's a relationship. And that's what Panancash is. It's a very important relationship. So the downstairs is the El Pilar, and the upstairs is the forest garden, and how we can go forward with that.
Thank you, Dr. Ford, and we are inviting each and every one of you to put in your, not 2 cents or 1 cent. Yeah. This is welcome told, and that's our theme, tell it. So that means we invite each and every one of you to be a part of this journey. The whole storytelling, the teachers, we wanted to see El Pilar and our outreach as the world as a classroom, and to really celebrate and legitimize this, the library where another challenge, you know, but we kind of don't accept. But we would like to have these innovative projects with you, right? Where like Mr. He from Ola, he said, what can we do with the young people this summer? Wonderful offer. We got a lot to do in terms of documentation and telling the stories and interviewing the elders while they're still alive. This much need to be interviewed. She's a walking library right there. So this is what we would like to collaborate with everyone. There's something for everyone. Lighter, they could go to the Citadel, and there we have vanilla. We need pictures taken, we need things labeled, we need stories told, descriptions, and all kinds of things. We have more than enough for everybody.